Hey everybody, and welcome back to Techtail Production. Today is going to be a money-making guide. We are going to be collecting myre fungus. Now, why are we going to be wanting this myre fungus, and what purpose does it serve? Why does it have a value at all? Myre fungus is actually used for herblore, so it makes a potion, so it has a pretty high cost due to it being a secondary. So how are we going to go about collecting it? As you can see, I am actually in Canifis. It's a little bit different than different place than I usually am. That's because you collect myre fungus in the swamp over here, and I wanted to show you guys how to get to it. I am going to show you guys a couple different alternative methods, just in case you don't have all the requirements to do it the way that I'm doing it. Only requirement that you really need to do it my way is the Mortania legs 1. I do have 4, so I'm going to be wearing 4. It gives you double produce from it, so you'll get 2 times as much myre fungus, 2 times the profit. The other thing that you're going to need to do is going to be have access to this deposit chest right here. That requires Deadliest Catch, that's another quest, as well as obviously having access to Mortania, again, another quest. It would be very helpful to have the Oribus pouch, I believe it's called. Just will make the gas so that they don't be constantly attacking you. So only thing that you really need in your inventory is going to be the prayer renewal flasks. Now the way that this works is as long as you have 1 prayer point, it is going to be able to be cast, the bloom ability from the silver sickle, another thing that I had equipped. And when you cast the bloom ability, it's going to make the myre fungus appear on the logs. This is going to be your best location to do it because it's extremely close to a deposit chest, and there's 3 of them right here that all get cast with the bloom ability from that silver sickle. I personally just put it onto action bar so that I can basically spam it out as fast as I can. Just pick the mushrooms real quick and then spam it again. Of course, it didn't really last that long, and you don't get every single one every single time. So you're going to have to be clicking collect from the logs, and then cast bloom ability again. You are going to want to have a prayer renewal flask going though, just while you're doing that, just to keep the prayer at least at 1 prayer point. That way you can continuously cast the bloom ability. I'm going to be going ahead and doing this for 15 minutes, that way you can see how much you can expect to gain. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's been just about 15 minutes here. I'm just going to bring my stopwatch over there. Got about 10 more seconds left. It's going to be 5, just counting it down. I do want to show you, there you go, 15 minutes. I want to show you a couple tricks that I learned while I was doing this, just in the 15 minutes. So I'm sure there's a slightly better way of doing it, but for now, this is the best way that I found to do it. I would cast the bloom ability, and perfect example. So basically, if I want to pick up these, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the top one right here first, and then I'm going to pick up the one over to the left. It just saves a couple seconds because then you can instantly cast the bloom ability again. Pick up here, you're already standing right on this spot where you need to be standing. I am going to drop these for myre fungus. It feels bad because I'm trying to make a little bit of money here, but I gotta drop them, otherwise it wouldn't be an accurate 15-minute representation. Another thing that I wanted to mention, resist the temptation when you get to this deposit box to hit this button right here. So many times I almost hit this button to empty my entire backpack, but you need to keep your prayer renewal flasks on you. So make sure that you're actually right clicking the myre fungus and hitting the deposit all. From there, yeah, I can't pick those up. It feels so bad. How much are these worth actually? Looks like they're worth at least about 1.1k a piece. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple other ways of getting here real quick. This is going to be the fastest way, just to go between these deposit box and these rotting logs here. But just in case you don't have one of the quests done and you still want to do this method, I'm going to show you a couple other alternatives real quick before I show you the loot. Okay, so a couple of the other alternatives are going to be using a fairy ring right here. The fairy ring code is going to be BKR. So if you use that code, it's going to teleport you right to that fairy ring right there. You're just going to run west a little bit. It's going to take you a couple seconds to get here, and it does take you a couple seconds to bank. So it's not the most efficient way of doing it. Obviously, the other banking method is a little bit faster, but you're just going to want to stand in between these three logs right here. Pick all three of these. Again, not picking them just in case if it messes up anything inside my bank. I don't want to give you an inaccurate representation how much money you can make per hour doing this. But all you do is cast the ability, pick up the logs, which I actually got 3 threes in a row, so it's pretty impressive. That usually doesn't happen. Usually you expect about 2 out of 3 to give you the mushrooms every single time that you cast the bloom ability. But you just keep doing that. There you go. You only got 1 this time. And as soon as you actually fully collect all that, you're going to teleport with... I personally choose to just use the Tokel Zil ring. If you go to, I believe it's the Fight Caves is the most northern one. Yep, there it is. There is a bank right here and a fairy ring right next to it, basically. So you would deposit any of the myre fungus that you have. Go ahead and go back up to this fairy ring here. Obviously, use it to teleport directly back to the first location that I was showing you. This is going to be slower. It does take a couple seconds to bank, so it's not the most efficient way to do it, but it does go a little bit faster than trying to make money another way most of the time. BKR is pretty easy one to find. You can use it, you can add it to your fast travel if you would like, but you don't really have to. It's pretty quick just to type it in if you memorize it. You just go ahead and come on over here and you will be able to cast bloom a couple more times. The last alternative I wanted to mention is actually using a sign of porter. I'm gonna just memorize how many I pick here. As soon as you pick them, they do get teleported by this sign of porter. I had 20 charges on it to start out with, and I'm now down to 16. I've teleported 4 over. This would eliminate your entire need to bank, so you could use the other spot or this spot. It doesn't really matter, but just be warned, the sign of porter, it does cost I think about 350 GP per item that you teleport back, so you're looking at cutting out about 1/3 of your profits. Despite the reason not having to bank, it may actually be even faster just to teleport to the bank. Depends on how much time you're investing every single time you travel to the bank. I believe the sign-up porter would be slightly better, but just due to the cost, you're going to be making less per myre fungus. I am going to go ahead and teleport back to Prifdinus real quick. That way we can see how much I've made off of all these in the 15 minutes. So bear with me here for a second. Okay, so I'm back in Prifdinus. I'm going to go ahead and check in my bank, see how many of these I got. 4 of these are actually from that sign-up porter that I was using right at the end. So I managed to collect 532 in the 15 minutes that I was doing this at the first location. I did use up 3 prayer renewal flask charges, so we're going to have to take that into consideration. Each one of them lasts for 6 minutes, so you can expect to use 10 per hour. I am going to, as always, go ahead and check for the margins real quick. This is something that you should always be doing. Just always, anytime that you have a decent quantity of basically anything, you're going to want to try to instant buy one, see what the buy price is. Right here, the buy price is going to be 1,099 gold pieces. So I'm going to want to be selling these for 1,000, either sell them for 1,099, or you can go ahead and sell them for 1,098 if you're in a really big rush. I am going to be selling them for 1,098. I want to try to get this video up ASAP. And I'm going to sell the other 5 separately. That way they don't interfere with the price check at the end. So I'll come back to you guys when these finish selling in a second here. Okay, hey guys, they already sold. It was only about a minute later. I did sell my other 5 mort myre funguses, and they were only selling for about 10 GP cheaper a piece. So just for the sake of this video, I decided to go ahead and take the 10 GP profit difference. It's only about 5,000 difference that I actually lost by doing that. And I made in 15 minutes 578,000, almost 579,000 GP. So I'm going to be trying to do some quick math here. Just bring up a calculator. Always be cautious about any time that I'm doing quick math. I will make sure I'm getting this all right though. It got 579,000 though in that 15 minutes. 15 minutes times 4 equals 60 minutes, which is going to be an hour. It's going to be a 2.3 million profit that you're going to be making every single hour. Now, that isn't necessarily free. I do want to take in consideration there's prayer renewal flasks, which I did buy right here for about 22,000. And these prayer renewal flasks, actually, I would only be using 10 of the 12 doses, so let's say about 40,000 of that 2.3 mil is going to be taken off in the cost of just doing this. So you're still looking at about 2.5 million while you're making this per hour, as long as you have Deadliest Quest. You also have Mauritania Leg 1s, and you have the ability to get to Mauritania. Obviously, that's kind of essential. But end result, 2.25 mil per hour. I cannot complain about that at all. That's actually a lot more than I was expecting to make. One little side note as well, due to this being a secondary for making the super energy potion, I believe, just because it's a secondary for making the super energy potion, during the double XP weekend, it actually increases in price a lot. So you can be expecting even more profit than what I got right here. I may actually do a revised one of these once the next double XP weekend comes around. But just always be in watch out for things that are going up, things that are going down. These super energy potions actually keep a pretty decent price due to them being used in the adrenaline potion, so you're always going to be making a pretty decent profit with the mort myre fungus, no matter what time that you're going to be looking to buy, sell, or produce these guys. But as always, this has been a TechTale production. I hope that you guys all have a good day.